Hey everybody, it's Chad Prather filling in for Dinesh D'Souza. Yes, you are actually in the right place. Dinesh is out. I'm filling in humbly. I'm honored to have the opportunity to talk to you today on the Dinesh D'Souza podcast. Today, my special guest is country music legend John Rich. We're going to talk about a heavy topic, something that you don't want to miss. This might just change your life. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
America needs this voice. The times are crazy. In a time of confusion, division, and lies, we need a brave voice of reason, understanding, and truth. This is the Dinesh D'Souza podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. Chad Prather filling in for Dinesh D'Souza. This is the Dinesh D'Souza podcast. I want to encourage you guys, if you're listening by way of Salem Radio or if you're on Rumble or on YouTube, always go to where audio podcasts are offered. Leave a rating and review. I think Dinesh deserves a 5-star rating. Tell him what a wonderful fill-in I am for him. And trust me, I know if you've followed Dinesh for any length of time, not only do I consider Dinesh a friend, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his work. And if you followed him for any length of time as I have, it's an awfully daunting experience to sit in this chair and to have the opportunity to speak to his audience. I don't take it lightly. I really am blessed to have the opportunity to speak to you, and I want to be very careful, obviously, with the things that we say. So I always keep my notes here with me. If you watch the Chad Prather show or the other show that I host in the mornings, Dear America, you know we go off the cuff quite a bit. We have a good time. Listen, I'm a comedian by trade, and so I like to have fun, but I want to honor this audience. I want to honor Dinesh, and so I'm very thankful to just have this opportunity these last couple of days to spend time with you. Thankfully, Dinesh will be back, and you'll be back to regularly scheduled programming next week, and it'll be good. Today's topic, I'm going to bring on in a little while my special guest. He's also a very dear friend, country music legend, John Rich of Big and Rich. And a lot of people have not only heard his music, but if you've ever heard John speak, he's a very passionate person, and he carries with him a heavy, heavy conviction, and he's one of us. He believes like we do, and he's very outspoken, not only highly motivational, but he's very convicting because he believes in the things that he says, and I'm so thankful for voices like John, and thankful for his friendship, and thankful that he's willing to join us today. But I want to talk to him about something that's not a comfortable topic for any of us. I want to talk to a little bit about a video he's got that's gone completely viral at this stage, talking about online predators and trafficking. And, you know, we're dealing with the Sean Diddy Combs case right now. We're all wanting to know who's on the Epstein list, the Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood elites out there. We know about the trafficking. We know about the abuse. We know about the predators. But I want to remind you guys that somewhere out there right now, and you have children, you have grandchildren, somewhere out there right now, there is a kid, and they're scrolling through TikTok, they're scrolling through Instagram, they're scrolling through Snapchat, whatever's out there. I don't even know the things that are out there these days. There's a predator, probably, twice, 3 times their age. Might be somebody living in the same neighborhood, 2 doors down. But what they're doing with your kids and your grandkids is they're crafting a lie. They're building a lure, like a fishing bait. They're creating a fantasy, something just believable enough to hook your kid. And by the time the child realizes what's happening, they've been ensnared. The hook has already been set. So I want to say this really just as plainly and bluntly as I can, because this is such a powerful topic that we need to address and do it in the right way. We're surrounded by monsters, and they wear masks that look like normal people. And I think that as a culture, as a society, we really need to get more vocal about tearing those masks off and exposing the evil that lives among us. Predators, whether they're online or in person, they're not random. They're not random. They're very calculated. And here's a disturbing truth. They don't see the kids, they don't see people as human beings. They see them as targets. In psychology, we would call that objectification. It's the ability to look at another human being and strip them of their value, take away their soul, their humanity, and reduce them to a function. They become property. They become a means to an end. So a trafficker or an online predator, to them, a child is not a child. We think of the innocence of childhood. They don't think like that. To them, the child is the product. For them, the child is a dopamine hit. It's a fantasy outlet. It's a commodity to be sold, used, discarded. It's a malignant narcissism that's mixed with a psychopathy that many of us would never comprehend or understand, but it's out there and it's becoming much more rampant. It's the darkest cocktail of personality disorders. It's a lethal combination of entitlement, manipulation, the complete absence of any empathy. And the scariest part is these people don't look like monsters. I just listed off some people who were billionaires, influencers, moguls, captains of industry, people who peddled influence, people that became icons. You didn't think of them as monsters because they didn't look like monsters. But on a local level, you have people that are dressed as pastors and family members and friends, sometimes even parents. Nothing is off limits. And these people can be charming, they can be articulate, they can be friendly and kind, they can be helpful because that's how they gain the trust. They groom a community before they groom the victim. I want you to let that sink in. They groom the community that the victim is a part of before they ever groom the victim themselves. And so when you go online, it literally becomes a digital hunting ground. I can't tell you how many fake accounts there are out there pretending to be me. I get messages all the time with people saying, Chad, you've been hacked. I haven't been hacked. You have Nigerian bot farmers out there who are creating online. I had literally someone who came to one of my live shows in Raleigh, North Carolina just last week. And she told me that she had recently been scammed out of over $100,000 because someone pretending to be me had started messaging her for a series of weeks, I think a couple of months actually, convinced her that I needed to borrow money from her for 2 weeks and I would pay it back. And she got scammed out of $100,000. That's a horrible thing. But it gets even worse than that because there are people who don't just prey on scamming people out of money, but also they're scamming people out of their lives. They're scamming them out of their innocence. And this digital hunting ground of the internet, we need to be aware of that because predators, they used to sit in the cars, out at the city park, right? Now they're sitting on couches. They're scrolling through the apps. They're playing games. They're joining Discord servers. They're in the comments sections. They don't need the windowless van that says free candy. They've got the direct messages, the filters. They got the fake profiles, and they'll spend weeks pretending to be a 14-year-old girl just to bait a 13-year-old boy into sending a picture. They'll shower a lonely teenager with compliments and just kind of break down their own sense of reality. Saying your parents don't understand you. I'm the only one who really cares. Don't tell anyone, it's our secret. You've heard these things before. It's textbook grooming, and it's out there, folks. We're going to talk about this today. You wouldn't think that John Rich would be the guy that we want to talk about this with, but I'm telling you, celebrities out there, people who have platforms, people who have a voice, they're starting to speak up about this, and they're calling it out. And we're going to have this discussion, and I want you to pay attention. We'll have some fun conversation later on, but we're going to start off very serious because we have these predators out there that are exploiting your children's insecurity. They do that more than anything else. It might be a broken home. It might be a bullied child. It might be a socially awkward teen. And you have these monsters that just sniff that out like blood in the water. They create dependence. They make the child feel seen. They make them feel special. And once that trust is established, they're going to introduce fear and shame and threats and blackmail. And it's not seduction. It's psychological warfare. It's psychological warfare. And you see these people that pop up in the headlines. I just read a story recently about someone that I've known personally. And you think, I never thought, they seemed normal. Never would have guessed. Surely that's not true. They seem so, upstanding and a citizen in the community. That's the point, because these people don't come with warning labels. They don't come. They manipulate your perceptions. They adapt. They blend. They become chameleons. They're predators. They're not opportunists. They're predators that hunt. And I want you to understand today as we talk about this, that we've got to stop pretending that this is someone else's problem. We've got to stop pretending that, this could happen to someone else. I have children. You have children and grandchildren. I raised 3 successful daughters and a successful son, and we watched them. We guarded their innocence. We paid attention to them. At times we might have seemed a little bit overbearing or too much disciplinarians, but we wanted to give them a value system so that ultimately they could protect themselves. And these days we have people say, that happens to other families. That happens down the road. It happens in other cities. It happens in the big cities, not out here in the country where we live. But folks, here's a gut punch statistic, and I'm going to take a break and bring John on. Over 80% of trafficking victims were groomed online before they were trafficked, and a majority of them still lived at home. So yes, your child, your grandchild, they can be targeted while you're sitting there eating dinner with them at the table. It's a scary world we're living in. Scary world we're living in. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have that conversation, and I hopefully we'll open some eyes. And if nothing else, it'll drive you to your knees to pray for our society. Again, if you're just joining, I'm Chad Prather, filling in for Dinesh D'Souza. My special guest today is John Rich. We're going to have a great conversation. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, if you're watching this on under the Google overlords of YouTube, or you're watching over on Rumble, wherever it is, click that little thumbs up button. You don't have to smash it or hit it hard. You can just easily just touch it and click that like button. All right, we'll be right back.
There's been a national focus on eating only the healthiest of foods, and that's great news for Balance of Nature. Their method of producing a vibrant nutritional supplement is second to none. While so many others use chemicals and additives, Balance of Nature is made solely from whole food ingredients. While other methods sacrifice nutritional quality for the sake of profits and volume, Balance of Nature's advanced vacuum cold process involves freeze-drying the fruits and veggies into a fine powder, helping to retain as much nutritional value as possible compared to other inferior methods which cut corners at your expense. Balance of Nature packs a nutritional punch, and that's the whole reason for taking this right here, Balance of Nature, fruits and veggies in a capsule, getting the most nutrition for the sake of your health. Use my discount code, it's America. You get 35% off plus free shipping and a money-back guarantee. Call 800-246-8751. Again, it's 800-246-8751, or go to balanceofnature.com. When you use discount code America, you get 35% off plus free shipping. Mike Lindell and the MyPillow team want to say a big thank you for your continued support. This spring, they had a huge allotment of their famous bed sheets set aside for the big box stores, but guess what? The stores didn't come through again, and so Mike's doing what he does best. He's passing the savings directly on to you. That's right, no middleman means you get wholesale pricing on their top-of-the-line Giza Dream Sheets and the Percale bed sheets. So the Giza Dream Sheets, queen size, normally $139.98, now just $69.99. The Percale Sheets Queen, normally $89.98, now just $29.98. All sizes are available at the discount rate too. These are premium sheets at prices you won't find anywhere else, but they won't last long. When they're gone, they're gone, so act now. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Dinesh, or you can call 800-876-0227. The number again, 800-876-0227 to grab this exclusive deal.
Hey guys, welcome back to the program. My good friend, country music legend, and a voice for the people, a conservative voice of conviction, John Rich is with me. John, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. Good to reconnect with you.
You as well. I need to come over there to your house and drink some of that Redneck Riviera whiskey you got. I tell you, that's some fun stuff, man. I was watching this deal the other day, and you went crazy viral on this video. And you, of all people, talking about child predators. And you were talking with Homeland Security. And how did that come about? How did you get into that conversation?
So my wife and oldest son, Cash, he's 15. They belong to this group of moms and sons that go do stuff around town. It's called Young Men's Service League. So they go, help poor people and, put in gardens for old ladies. They do good stuff. And so they had a speaker that came in to speak to us, a couple hundred of them, a DHS agent here in Nashville who works on the cyber crime unit. So he's the one out there finding the bad guys online who are coming after our kids. And so the guy gives like a 60-minute seminar to the moms and to the boys. And my wife came home and said, that was one of the most impactful things I've ever heard. everybody get your phone right now. We got to change some stuff on your phones. And so she started going in there and doing what the guy had said to guard your devices from these people. And I said, my God, I mean, that's incredible. I said, every parent in America should hear that. I said, are they just going like nickel and diamond, going to a school, going to here, going? She goes, yeah, basically. And so I said, did you get a number on this guy? And she actually had a business card from the guy. So I called him and said, hey, man, this should be seen by all of America. And I said, I would suggest we do a live stream. Let me host something and you do the exact same presentation that you just did for my wife and son, but let's do it in front of the whole country. And he said, that's above my pay grade. Let me send it up the ranks.
Yeah.
And so he sent it to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And then I reached out to Secretary Noem, who I've known for a long time. And I told her we wanted to do this. She said, 100% make it happen. So that led to this live stream that we did a few weeks ago on X. I just did it on X at John Rich. President of the United States actually reposted that live stream. It was huge.
Wow.
So we sat at my house and I had the lead DHS agent. So the special agent Fetting is his name. And this guy starts going through play by play, real time, showing actual texts that have gone back and forth between predators and kids, like exactly how they talk, exactly how they worm their way in, and then exactly how they extort, and also, Chad, a word called sextortion, and showed how these predators then threaten the kids to do all kinds of bad things to them and their family if they don't comply with these demands. And we went through that. It was about a 75-minute live stream. It's got almost 3 million views right now. I'm constantly getting messages from people saying, hey, we just showed that live stream to our entire high school.
Hey, John, let me correct you, dude. You're sitting, brother, at 7 million views now on that thing.
Okay. Well,
that's huge, bro.
There you go.
I mean, so that's twice the numbers you're talking about. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was like, that's
No.
massive, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a minute. So yeah, so people are taking it and they're like, on Wednesday nights at their church, they're getting all the youth group together and all the parents together, and they're hitting play on that live stream, and all the parents are learning what it is they need to know. Here's the stat, Chad. This is what got me where I said, I've got to stand up and make a move on this. Last year alone, there were 36 million tips that were called in to the DHS or the FBI or other law enforcement. 36 million. So 3 million on average a month called in of kids being targeted by online predators.
That's unreal. I'm sure you've seen the clip of Tim Tebow from this past week with Sean Ryan on the Sean Ryan Show, and he was talking about the red dots on the map that he pulled out. Tim's getting all emotional talking about that, and I was getting emotional watching Tim get emotional, and he said, every one of those dots is representing one of those cases. You got Joe Biden, who for 4 years goes in there and does whatever that administration was doing. I mean, we were ruled by an auto pen. He's going to hire 87,000 IRS agents and arm them to come after us. It's the mafia with a W-2 form, and they got 7 federal agents that are targeting these kids that are getting exploited and getting trafficked and stuff like that. Has Christy know him? And I've known Secretary Noem for a while as well. But I haven't asked her about this. I haven't had the opportunity to. She's a little busy. Has DHS, have they responded? I mean, like, not just to this, but in terms of beefing up the people that can fight against this at least on the governmental level? Have you heard?
Yeah, I mean, they're actively recruiting and building that team. They basically had their hands tied for the past 4 years, which is quite a statement on child trafficking. Let me remind you of something that RFK Jr. said 2 weeks ago at the cabinet meeting that Trump was showing to everybody, letting each person talk. RFK Jr., when it was his turn to speak, said, Mr. President, HHS has been this is the quote, has been a principal vector in child trafficking, resulting in sex crimes and slavery. I have not heard one major network grab that sentence that he said and go, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
And then start diving into that, going, what do you mean the federal government the HHS was the principal vector for child trafficking. What the hell are you talking about? So this, this problem is so massive. The way DHS described it to me, they said, we'll go to a school, we'll go to a church, we'll do these things like what your wife saw. It's like throwing a snowball at a mountain. I mean, it's so big. And so to me, I thought the one thing I could do would be to expose millions of people to that exact protocol, exactly what this guy was saying. And maybe we can get that number from 36 million down several million, just for the sheer fact that kids now are protected on their phones the way they've got their settings put up. Like, for instance, the agents does a real-time test with me in this live stream. And I urge everybody to go watch this. If you're a parent, grandparent, if you're at a school, a church, whatever, please go watch this. He says, all right, John, I just took a picture out here outside your house before we started the live stream. He said, I'm going to text you this picture. I said, okay. And he texted me the picture. He goes, did you get it? I said, yeah. He goes, swipe up on that picture. I went, swipe up? He goes, just swipe up on it. So I swipe up on the picture, and it shows the location of where the picture was taken, what time it was taken. He said, that's because I have location services turned on. Actually, you have to turn it off on purpose. Most people's are turned on your iPhone. He said, so a predator can go online and he can see a picture that some kid posted at a football game. He can get that picture, swipe up on it, and if their location services was on, they can then see where that kid was at the second they took the picture, then cross-reference that with other people that he finds that also took pictures from that location, and then they start to build this web, and then they come in and act like they're the age of that kid, and they start working them over, and then once they've got them, they lower the boom. They'll threaten to kill their families. They'll threaten to burn their house down. They'll tell them, if you don't meet me at the park in 30 minutes, I'm going to come kill everybody in your house. If you don't go take pictures front and back of your parents' credit cards and send them to me right now, I'm going to post this picture, this naked picture that I just forced you to send me. I'm going to post it and tag all your friends and your parents. And so that leads to kids killing themselves, mass suicides among teenagers because of this. The kid doesn't know what to do because, am I going to go tell my parents this is going on? What am I going to do? This guy's got me. They're not mentally equipped to deal with that. And so they'll go out a lot of times and actually commit suicide. So this, I think, of all the things I've done, Chad, especially on social media, nothing ranks anywhere close to what this was.
You know what, John, you convict me every time I talk to you, dude, because you're so passionate about these things, and rightfully so. I'm going to go to pin this on my profile as well. I shared it again just a little while ago, so we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to pin this to the top of my profile as well, but you can find it at John Rich, which everybody needs to be following you anyway, and of course mine's at Watch Chad. We're going to pin this to the top. But you're sitting thank you. You're sitting at just shy of 7 million views on that deal. It's huge. Let's take a quick break, John. We'll be right back. I want to talk about some other stuff. Hang tight, folks. We'll be right back.
Most of us think Medicare is something to deal with someday. That's how I felt until recently. I'm 64 now, and the moment you hit that number, it begins the mailers, the robocalls, the TV ads with actors you barely remember. None of it made any sense, and the more I looked into it, the clearer it became. This system is not designed to be easy. That's why I turned to Chapter. They walk me through everything. No pressure, no sales pitch. Chapter is independent. Their advisors compare every Medicare option out there to help you save money and remove the stress, all at no cost to you. So if you're turning 65, or even if you're over 65, do what I did. Call Chapter and get peace of mind. Dial pound 250, and when prompted, say Dinesh. That's the pound sign and then 250, keyword Dinesh. Don't let Washington or big insurance make this decision for you. Take control. Call Chapter today. That's pound 250, and when prompted, say Dinesh. This July, there's a global summit of BRICS nations in Rio de Janeiro, the bloc of emerging superpowers, China, Russia, India, Iran. They're meeting with the goal of displacing the U.S. dollar as the global currency. They're calling it the Rio Reset. Now, as BRICS nations push forward with their plans, global demand for U.S. dollars could decrease, bringing down the value of the dollars in your savings. While this transition won't happen overnight, the Rio reset in July marks a pivotal moment when BRICS objectives may move decisively from theoretical possibility toward reality. Learn if diversifying your savings into gold like I did is right for you. Birch Gold Group can help you move your hard-earned savings into a tax-sheltered IRA in precious metals. Claim your free information kit on gold by texting my name, Dinesh, to 989898. Birch Gold has an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, tens of thousands of happy customers. Let Birch Gold arm you with a free, no-obligation information kit on owning gold before July and the Rio reset. Text Dinesh to 989898 today.
So, John, we were just talking during the break. DHS said this is the biggest. They've never had like a civilian reach out to them to do something like this, right?
No, they said this is the first time a civilian has basically blind called us and offered something like this. And I said, well, I hope it's not the last time. And they said it won't be, because this is so successful. We're now going to start reaching out to, NASCAR drivers, athletes, people with audiences different than mine, to go out there and try to spread this word out as wide as we can.
Yeah, I'd love to do something like that. I would love to get that out there. That's insane.
I can set it up. I can make that happen for you.
Please do, and let's network together on stuff like that, because I think if they're willing to do it, I think it behooves all of us to do that, because that number you said, I mean, you're in the 36 million.
That's how many were called in, Chad. That's how many were called in. So how many happened? I mean,
exactly.
It's beyond comprehension how big it is.
It's become a thing. Like, we see this stuff and it sort of becomes white noise. And it's tragic that it is. We're seeing the Diddy case go on right now. And, John, I think they went after Sean Combs. I think they went after him the wrong way. I think because they went after him on the human trafficking side of things. I think they're going to have a hard time proving that in the court of law. It's one thing to be, guilty in the court of public opinion, but he's a piece of trash. I think we agree on that, but I don't think they're going to convict him on being a piece of trash. I think that, and so much of this stuff, whether it's getting called in or happening, it's like we know this stuff's going on in society. The Biden administration, is trafficking children. I mean, you heard what Bobby Kennedy said in that statement, because as soon as he said that, I go, wait a minute, rewind the tape. What did he just say? And so we keep thinking, it's happening, but is it really happening? Because it kind of comes, dressed up. And this is astounding. You have been in the entertainment industry. I mean, you've been singing songs since the Lord walked the earth, bro. I mean, you set the standard. You've been around forever. I mean, your first album cover was written in hieroglyphics, bro. I mean, you are a legend.
Cave art. My first album cover was actual cave art.
Hey, that's it. They got that thing in the Smithsonian, brother. They had to dig it up. You've obviously been at the tippy top for a long time. I'm assuming you've never told me, but I'm assuming you've probably gotten some pretty seedy invitations in your career to be a part of some things. Can you talk about any of that stuff if it's true?
100%. I've been invited to stuff. And it's interesting how they do it. When you first hit big, let's say you're at the Grammys in LA, okay, and you go win a Grammy or whatever, and you're with the big record label, and they go, hey, there's a big, they call them house parties. There's a big house party at the president of the record label's house out in the Hollywood Hills, and everybody's going there, and so we're all going. I go, great, let's go. And then you get there, and nothing seems out of sorts when you first walk in, but then you look around a corner and you're like, I don't know what they're doing back there, but I ain't walking in that room. Like, you don't see anything that you could like call the cops and go, oh my God, somebody's, being tortured in a bedroom. Like, I've never seen that, but you can see how they worm around. And then the bigger I got, the more successful I got in the industry, I started getting calls from Republican senators, okay? Republican senators, big time conservative country music artists, all kinds of influential people inviting me to go to Bohemian Grove. I bet I've been invited to go to Bohemian Grove 50 times. And my answer is always, Yeah, I'm not really into clubs. And they go, oh no, man, you'll meet all kinds of people, man. It's a networking. It's incredible. I go, don't you guys have a big stone owl that you sacrifice a human effigy to at the feet of Moloch? Like, I said that to a country music singer, a big country music singer. And he started laughing. He goes, oh man, I mean, all that is that's just like old tradition. It don't mean nothing. It's like, it's like a theatrical event. I said, yeah, you can't really pretend to worship the devil. I said this to him at a party in front of a bunch of people. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I'll go to Bohemian Grove if you'll let me wear the black druid outfit and light the fire to the human effigy at the feet of Moloch. We got a deal? And he looked at me and went, all right, man, forget I mentioned it. And he turned around and walked off, and I have not spoken to him since.
Wow.
Right.
You know,
Is that what
a lot
you
of
were
people
looking for, Chad? You looking for an answer like that? Yeah.
I mean, people start seeing stuff like that and they think, oh, those are just Alex Jones type conspiracies.
Nope.
They see some video that gets leaked out of there. I can tell you that these types of societies or cults or whatever you want to call them, I know for a fact that they exist. I've seen some things with and I'm small potatoes, obviously, but I've seen some things out there where it's like, oh, well, we're going to do this. We're going to have the party early. That's where everybody shows up for this thing. And then, the main crowd trickles out about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and that's when the real party starts. And I'm like, I'm getting the hell out. I'm not sticking around for any of this, because you just know that there's something seedy and something evil that's going on. I joke about it, but it's true. Like, I ain't going to Mardi Gras or anywhere else because I don't trust anybody in a mask. Like, I don't. People when they get some anonymity to them, or they get out there, people will do some real evil stuff. And this stuff is happening. And online, and your screens, our kids are on them, that's the ultimate anonymity. Like, these people can hide behind a fake profile or a picture, and now you got AI, which is really getting crazy.
So
I mean, they can...
Let me expand on that, okay? So we also talked about this in that live stream that I'm hoping everybody goes and watches with DHS. The agent says, now with the advent of AI, he said these predators will nab a picture of your kid. And he said, sometimes even if the kid doesn't even have pictures of themselves on Instagram, for instance, they will be able to see the kid's name and then cross-reference that to Facebook and other places, find the kid's mother, and then they'll find the mom, and then the mom has posted pictures of the kid at his birthday party or hitting a baseball or whatever they're doing. Then the predator will get that image, feed it into an AI program, create what's known as CSAM, child sexual abuse content. And they will create a AI-generated sex video using your kid's face. And then they will send that video to the kid that they're targeting online, and the kid's looking at that and going, if you don't do X, Y, Z, I'm about to send this video to everybody.
Wow.
That is how bad it is. That is how nasty. Any parent watching this right now, if you don't go watch that live stream, shame on you. You go watch it, and you have your neighbors watch it. And it by the way, it's been edited so it's age appropriate, 6th grade and up. Okay, so any kid 12 years and up can watch this. You go watch it, mom. You go watch it, dad. You go take it to your church. You take it to your principal. You say, I want the whole school to see this, okay? Everybody needs to move on this. If you can hear things like what I'm saying to you right now and you don't move, God help you.
I've said for a little while now that with this advent of AI and the sophistication that you can do, and it's getting better every day in terms of what they're capable of producing, is when they start targeting people, like let's say they want to say John Rich did XYZ, this gross criminal activity, and you should never, they can ruin lives, livelihoods, families, cause, as you said, death and suicide. They can do all of that stuff. And you're completely innocent, but they created this whole other world that's a digital world that now in the court of public opinion, people see that online and they're like, well, John Rich did what? No. And you didn't have anything to do with it. So you have people who are using that to blackmail people. I've got, you've met him, been a while back, Jesse Payton, great comedian that opens for me, has for years. He'll send you a video right now that somebody created of his face talking with his voice and him asking people for money and, favors and all these things. And he had nothing to do with it. And they're doing that with these kids. You know, you get a phone call and it's a kid to a parent or somebody that says, I'm being held for ransom or something like that. You got to send the money. And it's going to get worse. It can't help but get worse because now with AI, with the cyber criminals, these people know far more about the technology than we do and the average person, right?
Yeah.
And we're at a point. So what you're talking about is these, and people need to watch the video. These are settings in your phone that you need to change.
Yep.
I mean, in a perfect world.
These are settings in your phone. These are like, for instance, if your kid has social media, mine don't. Mine are 13 and 15. They ain't ever going to have social media till they're living in their own house.
Right.
Okay. But if your kids do have social media, you set their page to private. So Instagram, X, anything they're on, set it to just one click, set to private. And that way, if a new follower wants to join, they have to request to follow. Then the parent can look at that and go, who is this? Do you know this person? Oh, yeah, that's Jimmy. You know, he's a friend at school. Okay, cool. He's in. Do you know this guy? I don't know who that is. Okay, deny. As simple as that. But if a kid looks up and let's say they've got 1,100 followers, there's, you know, some of them do. Well, is anybody going to pay attention to 1,101? No, they're never going to go through it. So part of this process was combing through your kids' followers, setting it to private, turning off location services on their pictures. And then the parents then have to go to their own social media sites and comb through that and go, what do I not want on here that somebody can nab and use it to come after me and my kids? I mean, no joke. Chad, is there anything you would not do to keep a child predator from getting inside your actual home and stealing your kid in the middle of the night? Is there anything, any rule that you would adhere to if that happened?
Absolutely. I mean,
no, is there anything that Chad Prather would not do?
There's nothing I won't do.
That's correct. I mean, if all I've got's my thumb, it's going through your eye and I'm going to rip your nose out of your face. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna kill you if you come into my house and come after my family. I'm going to kill you. But people with that attitude, which I would argue is basically every parent that loves their kids, will sit there and allow them to sit in their bedroom or in the back of the living room on their phone, going crazy on social media, and it's not set to private, and they have no idea what's going on, and they're letting these monsters walk right into their house over and over and over and over again. So parents have to adopt the thought process of there is no difference in that monster coming at my kid through this or kicking my front door down at 2:00 in the morning and walking into their bedroom and grabbing them. There's literally no difference between the two. American parents have got to change the way they are thinking and change it right now.
Scary stuff, brother. It's scary. I want a few more questions. We're going to take a break. A couple more minutes with John Rich. Folks, go right now during the break and follow at John Rich. Get that video, bookmark it, save it for yourself over on X. You need to watch it. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Hey, guys, welcome back. Sitting down with country music legend, outspoken, motivational guy. I'm telling you what, you better be motivated after listening to this conversation, my buddy John Rich. You know, we often talk about the wood chipper, right? I've made videos talking about let's feed them in feet first. You know, you find these people, and they've changed the language. You can't talk about pedophiles. You can't talk about all this stuff. You know, we'll probably get a strike on YouTube for even using the word pedophile. And I'll see people on X who'll X out certain letters in it so they can write it out. I'm like, this is the stupid world we're living in. Why are we normalizing this behavior that you cannot, like therapy ain't going to help these people. These are monsters. And then they changed it to MAPS, minor attracted persons. Or whatever it stands for. Like that's not a psychological deal. You are damaged beyond repair. There's no way these predators, you can't redeem these people. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there is no rehab for pedophiles.
Yeah.
There's no rehab for that. It's not like you're an alcoholic or a drug addict. You have twisted yourself spiritually, mentally, into an absolute bona fide monster. You are subhuman when you come for kids and you target kids and you then abuse that kid, sexually molest and abuse that kid. That's it. Trump said when he was in the campaign that he thought that he would like to institute a federal death penalty.
Yeah.
For anyone who sexually abuses a child or traffics a child, death penalty. Now that hasn't happened yet, but I have seen a couple of states. I think Idaho might have just passed that law that if you're convicted of sexually abusing a child, you get the death penalty. I think it was Idaho.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Chad. If you ever wonder to yourself, what gives these people the gumption to do this, to step across the line into the private domain of a family, whether it be an online child sex predator, whether it be a teacher who's grooming students, whether it be whoever it is. I've often wondered, because as a dad myself, that is the last thing I'm ever going to do, is put a mom or a dad in a position of having to defend their kids against me, because I know what they're going to do to me. They're going to kill me dead. They're going to kill me on sight, and they should.
Yeah.
And so I would never do that. And so you wonder what gives them the gumption. And here's what I think it is. I've spent some time thinking about it. I think they have no touchstone in their soul as to the real feelings that a mom or a dad has when it comes to protecting their kids. They hate kids. They try to make sure they're not born in the first place. And if they are born, they try to co-opt them and twist them into the image of the devil himself. Then if they can't do that, they'll go after them online, and they'll try to make them kill themselves. They'll try to make them send nude pictures of themselves so they can then do God knows what after that. They have no understanding, Chad, what a mom or a dad will do to them, because they don't have that feeling. Mm-hmm. They've never experienced that feeling that a mom or a dad has. I really think that's what it is. And so this is where you see the brazen attitude coming at our kids. Same thing with teachers in schools who are in there grooming these kids by what they're reading to them, what they're showing them in some of these books. Same thing. They have no understanding of the resolve of an American parent who loves their kids.
John, I want to commend you on something, knowing you personally and also being able to watch you from a distance. I mean, you're a very public person, but I want to commend you. You've done a fantastic job of keeping your family private to the public eye. That's always been a conviction of mine. People always like, you never post pictures of your kids. That's right. I don't. One, they didn't want me to, and two, I didn't want to do it, because why are we going to do that? Why make them a target? But these predators are out there. And it's happening. I encourage everybody to watch, share that video, and get me hooked up with them. I want to do some of that.
I will.
I want to get connected.
I will.
John, what else is going on? We got about 5 minutes. What else is going on in your world? You got your hand in so many things, dude. You got the bank, you got the bar, you got the music, you got everything.
Yeah. Man, I'm blessed, dude. It's just I wake up in the morning and go, I can't believe this is all actually working. I mean, in the music business, man, it's up, down, up, down, up, down. And it's that way in your regular life too, to a certain degree. But right now, the things I'm working on are working. Yeah. So Old Glory Bank, we just hit a milestone actually today. $200 million in deposits have now come into the bank. It is growing leaps and bounds. We're taking on mortgages now, small business loans. People love Old Glory Bank because it's not one of the big woke banks, except you get all this customer service. Like when you call Old Glory Bank, an actual American answers the phone that you can understand, and they'll talk to you for an hour if you need to help you figure something out. So that's going good. Redneck Riviera Whiskey, Chad, maybe this is all due to just your personal purchases, maybe, but
you ain't wrong.
Redneck Riviera Whiskey is now up year over year, 85% year over year. It has just gone hockey stick, and I think that's probably due to a few factors. One, the word has finally gotten out that this is American glass, American corks, American blended whiskey. It's 100% made in the United States. The part about giving back to Folds of Honor and the VFW, we've now gone over $2 million back to those organizations that we give back on every bottle sold. And then it's under $25, so people can afford it. So it's basically, it's inflation proof, it's tariff proof, and it's 100% made in our country. A lot of Crown Royal drinkers, actually. So that's Canadian blended whiskey.
Right.
When all the crap happening with Canada and them throwing Jack Daniels off their shelves and, saying bad stuff about our country, a lot of people started saying, you know what, this is the last bottle of Crown I'm ever going to buy. I'm going to go try American blended instead of Canadian blended. So we're actually stealing a bunch of Crown Royal drinkers right now that are saving money per bottle and drinking an American product. So I'm really, honestly, it's almost shocking how well that is doing. And then on the family front, man, both my boys, 9th grade and 7th grade, one of them made all A's this year in the 7th grade, man, which is hard to do. And the other one's all A's and a couple of B's, both playing baseball and looking forward to being in 10th grade and 8th grade. Man, listen, God is a very kind, the Lord is very kind to people who will yield their will to him. You have to yield to him. You literally have to say, whatever you want, make that happen. Forget what I want to do. You tell me what to do, I'll go do it. Any person that ever actually does that for real, it is astounding what he will do in your life. Things you could never have possibly imagined, because he wants his people to have access to things that can further his message. He wants to be able to get it out there and get it out there and get it out there. Whereas conversely, people that won't follow what he wants them to do, generally going to run into a lot of walls and for sure will never accomplish what the true goal was of them being born in the first place. And Chad, I follow you, so I see your daily prayers that you post. Those are so important for people to see that and read that. We're having some good times in America right now, but I'm telling you right now, all the bad guys are still here. All those terrorist cells are still here. They're still spread out all across the United States. They have not activated. I know we're trying to root them out before they can, but I want to warn people, we ain't out of the woods by a long shot right now. So people need to stay aware like we were prior to the 2024 election. Stay aware. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the good times that we're having, but in the back of your mind, always be aware that there's a lot of bad guys that would sure like to derail the progress we're seeing right now in America.
Yeah, there's some bad folks, man. And hey, all of that stuff, and you got to keep Big Kenny in line too. I mean, that's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job. I put a little something in his cocktail at night, just keep him calmed down a little bit. But no, man, he's actually doing great. He's doing. I don't think he could be doing any better either, man. We had a show yesterday, and things are just going great.
Well, brother, listen, I am always I want to say publicly, when you agreed to lend your vocals and harmonies to the song I put out last year, Watered Down, it was a huge honor. You're a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of people clamoring for you, and rightfully so. Thank you for being a friend, and thank you for doing this today. I know you got a bunch, man, and maybe you get a nap sometime today or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, that was a great song. If the song would have sucked or you would have sucked, I would have said, hey, man, good luck with that. I'm busy. But you sang your butt off, and the song was great. And so it was a pleasure to sing with you.
Thank you, brother. You're an awesome dude, man. I'm going to be in Tennessee here pretty soon. We'll cross paths. Know that I love you, and I talk to Troy all the time, but tell Big Kenny I said hi as well, man. John Rich, everybody follow him at John Rich, and go out and find yourself a big and rich show and have a big and rich time. John, thank you, buddy. Talk soon.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you, folks, for joining us today. It's been an honor to be with you these couple of days, and special thanks to my buddy John Rich. Go watch that video. Go check it out. Get involved. Get engaged. It is real, folks. The threat is it's in our lives, and we got to deal with this right here in the land of the free. God bless you guys. Thank you for joining on Salem Radio, Rumble, YouTube. Make sure you go leave a rating and review. 5 stars is what the show deserves, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Love you. God bless.
Subscribe to the Dinesh D'Souza podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify, or watch on Rumble, YouTube, and SalemNow.com.